thank you guys for joining us. Sorry you can't see me, although there you go. You can see what, hopefully you've met me in person at some point, and that is what I look like. No video today, and I'm not complaining too much about that. But I'm Jamie. I'm the Territory Sales Manager for Instinct, and we are so lucky to have Aspen here doing our virtual training today. She is our Retail Education and Training Associate, kind of in the tri-state area. She lives just outside Philly as well. So we're going to go through a little bit about pet food, a little bit about longevity, a little bit about instinct, do a little bit of everything. And we are going to certainly open it for questions at the end as well. And we really want you guys to be engaged. Ask any questions. There's no dumb questions. Chances are if you have that question, somebody else has that question. The one thing that we don't love about virtual trainings is it's not that one-on-one where people feel a little bit more comfortable speaking up and asking their questions. If you guys don't feel comfortable, obviously our emails are there, but we want you to ask them. And again, there's no dumb questions. We've all had them. We've heard plenty of things. So we encourage you guys to ask questions, whether it's directly related to instinct or longevity or even pet food in general, because Aspen's a really great resource for that as well. So I will let her take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Jamie. So as Jamie said, my name's Aspen. I'm Retail Education Training Associate for Instinct. And today we're going to talk a little bit about Instinct products. But most importantly, I want to talk about our company and why we do what we do. So before we get started, today's presentation has an interactive component. So if you guys could grab your phones, hopefully they're not too far, and text the raw brand, which is all one word, to 22333 to activate your Poll Everywhere session so you can participate throughout today's training. This is how we try and create a little bit of engagement, answer some questions for you guys. Some of these will be thought-provoking polls, at least I like to think so. So hopefully you guys have had a chance to text in. All right, now all of you have heard of Instinct as a brand. Maybe some of you have even fed our recipes before to your own pets, but how many of you actually know what our purpose is? So let's roll to the first poll. So go ahead and text in your answer. So what do you think our purpose is? Are we feed different, feed raw? Are we trying to put more raw into more bowls? Or empowering people to transform the lives of pets? We've got a vote there. Helping pets live healthier, better lives. All of these are great options, but one of them is our poll. Our poll, look at that. I'm working on my first coffee, guys. I apologize. One of them is our true purpose. All right, so it looks like we have some of the correct answer. Our purpose, the reason behind everything that we do, is empowering people to transform the lives of pets. That's it. That's why we get up and come to work every single day. And there's a few ways that we're living and working towards that purpose, and that's through our people, our passion, and our craft. So it all starts with our people. I joined Instinct in February of this year. I've been in the pet industry for 10 years now, and I've tried just about everything in the pet industry at least once. Boarding, daycare, grooming, training, retail, you name it, I've probably tried it. And while I enjoyed all of those things, nothing really stuck. And it wasn't until I was working at a neighborhood pet store that I dug deep into pet nutrition. And after having a sick dog and my vet actually recommending a raw diet, I experienced such drastic health changes in my own dog that I was hooked. I knew I needed to help educate other pet parents on how they can change the lives of their pets through raw feeding. So the proverbial light bulb clicked on in my head, and this was my passion. But it took a client to point it out. She saw the passion I had for raw feeding and her pet's health and thanked me. It was then that I knew what my purpose was and to find a job where I could make even more of a difference through education. And that's when I found Instinct. And it's incredibly rewarding to wake up every morning and work for a company where both of your passions align. Now, every day I get to come to work and share my story and hopefully empower more pet parents to take the step in transforming their own pet's life. But my story isn't unique. Just like you, we're a group of people who live and breathe our purpose every day. And for many of us, it's why we joined Instinct in the first place. We believe in the power of transformation, whether it's through donations to local rescues or gathering with our teams on our purpose days out to help volunteer in our local communities. What's most important is giving back to the communities and industry that supports us every day. And the other more obvious way that we transform the lives of pets is through our products or our craft. So, let me ask you, and have your phones ready because I have another poll for you. What is the number one decision you can make as a pet parent that will impact your pet's quality of life? All right. So there are so many factors every day that go into the overall health of our best friends. And I'm not sure about everyone else, but I know I am a million times more picky with my pet's food than I am my own. So go ahead and text in. What do you think is the most important choice that we make? Their diet. Again, yep, I know I'm more particular about my pet's diet than I am my own. Actually had ramen noodles for dinner last night. Well, cool. So the food we feed them, their diet, yep. So the great thing is there's no wrong answer here. Regardless what you call it, the food we feed them every day is the most important choice we make. And at Instinct, we've always had raw nutrition at our core, and we had a pretty interesting start as a company. So before we were making raw pet food, we were making raw diets for the big cats in the Nebraska zoos. The big zoo cats weren't thriving, and there's a big difference between surviving and thriving, right? So their caretakers wanted to update their diets to revitalize them. So our founders worked with the zoos and the University of Nebraska, along with their PhD level nutritionists, to create a new raw diet for them. The raw diet truly helped those big cats begin to thrive. And in 2002, we started becoming the raw pet food company you know us to be today. We developed raw diets for dogs and cats, and over the last 2 decades, we've been at the forefront of pushing pet food forward every step of the way. The real question was, how do we push raw forward? Well, we started by creating a raw-coated grain-free kibble, and we're the second grain-free kibble on the market. Now, how many of you feed a grain-free kibble? Just think, 15 years ago, grain-free didn't even exist. And even though now there's a ton of companies that make a grain-free kibble, very few have a raw coating. So we brought grain-free kibble to market and based it around the raw philosophy. And not only did we help create a grain-free kibble, we did it with a freeze-dried raw coating. Because if we were going to make a kibble, we were going to include raw. So we used our grain-free raw-coated kibble to push the raw category forward and to start to help people understand the raw nutritional philosophy. And then we asked ourselves, how do we continue to push forward? And thus, frozen bites were created. We knew that convenience was a big factor in a pet parent's decision, and we wanted raw to be easier to feed. We also created the first raw boost kibble. Instinct was the first company to combine freeze-dried raw pieces with a raw-coated kibble. And for about 3 years, we were the only raw boost kibble on the market. Instinct created the entire raw boost category. And we did because we knew that if we were going to bring something new to market, it was going to be around raw, and it was going to push that category forward and get more people to understand the benefits of raw. And the next thing we did was take raw from being anecdotal to factual. So we partnered with the University of Helsinki and the Dog Risk Research Group, who has been health tracking dogs for the past 12 years and reviewing nutritional impact on dogs' lives. This key partnership was about helping raw as an entire category, not just Instinct. And we knew that we needed to continue to challenge ourselves as a company and the industry itself. So we were the first raw company to bring on a board-certified veterinary nutritionist, Dr. Susan Wynn. Now, most pet food companies in general don't have a board-certified veterinary nutritionist, and we have one as a raw company, which is a huge deal. So if you look at our timeline, every few years, we have major milestones that show we're using all of this science and all this research to continue to push raw forward and continue to improve the category. So let's start with Dr. Wynn, who has a very unique set of credentials. She is one of fewer than 100 board-certified veterinary nutritionists in the country and makes Instinct the only raw company in North America with someone like her on our team full-time. Bringing her over on board to the Instinct team has helped us take the nutrition in our foods to a whole new level and helping our pets continue to thrive. Dr. Wynn also develops our research program, which includes designing our in-house research as well as connecting Instinct to researchers doing work related to our interests. One of the groups we talk about often is the Dog Risk Study out of the University of Helsinki. So the Dog Risk Study has spent the last 12 years health tracking over 16,000 dogs. They've published several studies on the benefits of feeding a raw diet versus conventional kibble and raw food's positive impact on health span. These include published data on canine atopic dermatitis, or environmental allergies, and inflammatory bowel disease, which both had a reduced occurrence in adult dogs who were fed raw as puppies. Research from the Dog Risk Study has also shown that by adding just 20% raw into your pet's diet, you can make a meaningful impact on your pet's health, including indicators that a raw diet could be a form of preventative nutrition for pets, truly life-enhancing benefits of feeding raw. And this groundbreaking science is influencing how we approach incorporating raw food into our pets' diets. So the continuing studies from Dog Risk include examining raw food's influence on many other common health concerns. We have the preliminary data on file for an upcoming study looking at the impact of a raw diet on hip dysplasia, and are looking forward to more details on studies reviewing dietary impact on otitis, urinary tract infections, dental disease, and certain cancers. And the science of raw is continuing to advance. But before we can fully understand the next evolution of raw feeding, we need to look at how we got here. All right, so before the invention of kibble, canned blank was the most popular form of commercialized dog food. So grab those phones. It is another poll. So go ahead and take your best guess. Some of you may already know. Some of you may be shocked to learn what the most popular form of pet food was. All right, we've got some for horse meat. I don't even like saying it out loud. It doesn't tell me how many of you are texting in, so I'm hoping that we've got, unfortunately, more than one for the horse meat. So, let's see. So before dogs and cats were domesticated, they were hunters and eating raw diets. Prior to World War II, dogs and cats were mainly eating human food, whether it was made for them or table scraps. And the first type of commercial pet food was, you guys guessed it, canned horse meat. Due to war efforts and the need for metal and canned pet food was seen as a luxury, and the pet food industry had to find an alternate method, leading to the development of extruded kibble. Kibble has become a staple in the pet food industry because it is cost-effective and convenient for pet parents. But kibble was really invented due to necessity, not because it's nutritionally superior. And kibble has continued to evolve over the last 100 years. We expect more from kibble nutritionally, and we expect more from the brands making it. And as we discussed, Instinct produced our first raw recipes in 2002. And think about how all that has changed in the last 20 years. Remember these, because I know I sure do. I was rocking out to Avril Lavigne in the back of the bus on my iPod. Dating myself just a little bit. The original BlackBerry featured a full keyboard and was one of the first devices to offer an integrated phone with email and web browsing functionality. While this was a pretty big advancement for the time, it's probably safe to assume that you've gotten a new cell phone since, right? And the original iPod launched in 2001. Its mechanical scroll wheel allows users to search and play up to 1,000 songs right from your pocket. But think about how much this one device has changed since then. The newest edition of the iPod has a touchscreen, can take photos and videos, and can hold more than 32,000 songs. But both the BlackBerry and the iPod were huge advancements in science and technology 20 years ago. And think about how far we've come since then. The industry has even combined the functionality of the smartphone with music into one single device, creating something far better than either of them were 2 decades ago. And everything in the world has moved forward in the last 20 years, but raw really hasn't until now. So, what is raw pet food today? Mostly Paleolithic style diets that are high protein, high fat, and very low plant matter content. Think feed like a wolf. Paleolithic style diets mimic what wild animals would eat to support rapid reproduction and shorter lifespans. These paleo diets are all life stages, and for the most part, they're all very similar. In essence, all paleo raw diets are created equal. But our pets aren't wild animals, and we've evolved the purpose of our pets as well. So we now consider our pets true companion animals who live very different lives from their descendants before them. We want them to live longer, healthier lives, and we should adapt their food to provide proactive, functional nutrition to support these goals. And paleo diet in the wild is perfect for repeated reproduction. And paleo diets support the species or the pack, but not the individual. And repeated reproduction shortens life expectancy. And the key differences for our companion animals versus wild animals, ours are neutered, spayed, they're less active, they have breed-specific genetic requirements. Our companion animals have a completely different purpose for their lives, and they have pet parents who want their pets to live a long, healthy life. We've got another poll rolling in. True or false? To estimate the age of your dog in human years, a good rule of thumb is to calculate 7 years for every 1 human year. So go ahead and text it. And I know I can't be the only one who tries to do the math on their dog's age. Just the other day, my youngest dog, who's a 6-month-old puppy, was trying to pull down my Christmas tree. And yes, it's already up, no judgment. And I remember doing the math, saying to myself, 3.5 years old in human years, yep, mischief makes sense. But then I reminded myself that may not be as accurate as once thought. All right, so it looks like everyone is in agreement that false. It is no longer accurate. Let's see. So this study from the University of San Diego School of Medicine came out last year and turned on its head our ideas of aging in dogs. Dogs mature differently than humans do. That old 1 to 7 years ratio to determine a dog's age is inaccurate, so you guys got it right. Young puppies age much faster than humans do, but as dogs get older, they actually age more slowly than humans. And if you take a look at this graph, you can see most of the growth of a puppy occurs in the steepest part of that curve, which is in the first year of life. So 45% of their biochemical aging occurs in those 12 short months. And they continue to mature rapidly until about 4 years of age, which is early middle age. And then the curve flattens, and there isn't much more aging that's done, at least as a percentage of total aging. So if you look at that yellow box and above it that darker shading in the upper right, you can see that dogs are spending about 50% of their lives in the senior years. So it becomes even more important to feed them to support these unique nutritional needs. And some of the goal questions we asked while developing these breakthrough recipes were, how can we support that massive growth and critical developmental stage for puppies? And what are we doing differently to prevent or delay age-related changes we associate with older pets? Whole time, I feel like I need a special bell or sound effect, but true or false? Nutrition intake in the first 75% of an animal's life impacts nutritional consequences that manifest in the last part of its life. So, is our pet's health in their senior, mature years affected by what they eat as a puppy? So if you think about it, what you feed your puppy lays the foundation for them later in life. True? Okay. So this is absolutely true. And part of why life stage focused nutrition is so impactful. And we just started to scratch the surface of tailored nutrition in the last few slides. So those Paleolithic style diets we talked about are very successful in the wild and were species appropriate for your pet's ancestors. But what we know is that our dogs are not wolves and our cats are not tigers or lions, although they may disagree. They are our companions, and we want them to live long, happy, healthy lives. So, what should raw diets of the future look like? New raw diets should be functional to promote life longevity. And what we mean by functional is something that will have a positive effect on health beyond just the nutrition of food itself. They should be life stage specific to enhance quality of life at every stage, and they should include key nutrients to enhance life's health span, which means the amount of time a pet is healthy throughout its life. And since raw science is evolving, we're evolving along with it. And Instinct is proud to announce the next evolution of raw. Instinct Raw Longevity, which is exclusive to neighborhood pet stores just like Doggy Style. So, Instinct Raw Longevity is a revolutionary step forward for raw nutrition, including customized recipes for each life stage, which contain the right amount of nutrients to support optimal health at each life stage. And each recipe supports heart, immune, gut, and skin and coat health. And these enhanced raw recipes are protein packed with a rainbow of fruits and veggies to provide key nutrients. And these recipes are crafted with purpose by our very own pet nutrition scientists, and most importantly, they are backed by science. So Instinct Raw Longevity is multi-platform, available in frozen raw, freeze-dried raw, and a breakthrough 20% freeze-dried raw and kibble meal blend. And the unique 20% inclusion of freeze-dried raw is the first of its kind available to market. And you might be asking how this is different than other Kibble Plus recipes in the market today. Through our research, we know that boosted kibble, as we see it today, has about 5% freeze-dried raw inclusion, but with longevity, we boost the level of freeze-dried up to 20%. And an important note about our 20% freeze-dried meal blends is that the freeze-dried pieces are complete and balanced, so that ensures that our pets are receiving premium nutrition with the proactive benefits of raw, something you simply can't do by mixing alone. And these unique recipes are convenient for pet parents and take the guesswork out of portioning an impactful meal for your pet. So Instinct Raw Longevity is taking nutrition to a new level, guaranteeing a wide and functional range of nutrients that have been shown to improve health span. And these nutrients are customized to each life stage, and it's guaranteed right on pack so pet parents know what they're getting. So what does this look like? Take a bag of our competitor's food and flip it over. You're guaranteed to see the 4 macros that AFCO requires to be on all bags. Anything after protein, fat, fiber, and moisture is voluntary and requires additional testing to be put on the back of pack. So we start with the same protein and fat profile that raw feeders are accustomed to, then layer in rich phytonutrients and antioxidants, and then further customize the recipe for each life stage. So check out this guaranteed analysis seen on screen as an example from our adult 7+ dog recipe. There are 22 guaranteed nutrients that support the health span of your aging dog. And just to put it in perspective, AFCO only requires 4, and we have 22. And remember that health span is the number of years that your pet is healthy. So as you've probably noticed, our packaging can be used as a great selling tool. Our packaging boldly calls out the science and guaranteed nutrition right on pack. And we even make a direct call out on the dog risk research on both the front and the back of the packaging. And the benefits from our carefully selected nutrients, vitamins, and minerals are also highlighted right in that silver bar. The benefits are connected to the claims on the back of the pack. And an important thing to note is that this will look different for each life stage because we're supporting different aspects at each life stage. All right, everyone, we are heading into a poll speed round, so keep those phones close. If you know the answer, excellent. If not, just give it your best guess. We're all here to learn today, and the answer will be covered in subsequent slides. Here we go. All right, to kick off our poll speed round, here's a true or false. Every Instinct Raw Longevity recipe includes functional, tailored nutrition to support heart, immune, gut, and skin and coat health. So get those thumbs texting, or if you are a pointer finger texter like me, that's okay too. Awesome. It looks like everyone so far says true. And you guys are 100% correct. So, puppy formulas. We have designed them to support the rapid growth we see in the first year of life. We've included high protein plus guaranteed levels of calcium and phosphorus to support muscle and bone growth. And we've also added DHA from fish oil for eye and cognitive development, omega-3 and 6 fatty acids to promote healthy skin and coat, and extra antioxidants to support immune function, as well as probiotics with a healthy fiber to support a healthy digestive system. All right, true or false? DHA, or docosahexaenoic acid, is just as important in the growth phase, aka puppy or kitten, as it is in the senior phase. Again, go ahead, take your best guess, because even if you're not sure, we're going to cover the answer. True, all right, we do think it is important. Again, I wish it showed me how many of you are texting in. So far, it looks like everyone has said true. And we have a false, okay? All right. So, the majority of you said true, so let's see. Early nutrition is equally as important for growing kittens. These high-protein diets start out with cage-free chicken and are perfect for the growth and development of our favorite little carnivores. And just like you had guessed, it is true. The same as our puppy recipes, we have added that DHA from fish oil, which is important for eye and cognitive development. So yes, our aging, I don't like the S word, but our aging dogs and cats do need that DHA as well as our puppies. So our adult recipes are maintenance formulas that help keep pets thriving through age 6, while also providing preventative nutrition before we reach their senior or mature years. These recipes help a pet maintain a healthy body mass, support the immune system, and promote healthy mobility. These adult recipes contain high protein that supports healthy muscle maintenance in addition to taurine to support heart health. Similarly to puppy and kitten, you will find the omega-3 and 6 fatty acids to maintain a healthy skin and coat, antioxidants for immune system, and added probiotics to support a healthy digestive system. All right, poll number 3. Should our healthy aging pets limit their protein intake? Some of you may have heard this before in conversations, maybe read it somewhere, but let's get to the bottom of it. So take your best guess. True or false? False. All right. I'm going to guess that's like 3 of you. 3 of you say false. Can we get a number 4? All right, I'm going to guess that a 4th person has texted in. Let's see. So, preventative nutrition in our adult 7+ recipes can address normal age-related changes like digesting nutrients less efficiency, hormonal changes, not unlike diabetes, muscle atrophy, microbiome changes, reduced immune function, lowered antioxidant status, reduced ability to heal, and cognitive decline. Our adult 7+ recipes are heavily focused on supporting mobility, which is why we've included turmeric plus DHA, manganese, and glucosamine and chondroitin to help with joint health. We've also included quality protein to help with muscle retention and added probiotics and fiber for gut health. An especially important addition to these recipes to support mental clarity is the arginine, DHA, pyridoxine, folic acid, L-carnitine, medium-chain triglyceride oil, and B vitamins. Our adult dog 7+ recipe also includes lemon balm to support cognitive function. So contrary to popular belief, healthy aging pets should not limit their protein intake because it is essential to maintain healthy muscle mass. So you guys got it correct. All right, so dogs spend the majority of their life in the senior phase. And adjusting adult nutrition around 7 years of age is a proactive step that you can take for your pet's health. And these recipes are specifically crafted to support the health of our aging pets. As you can see, we are guaranteeing a long list of nutrients to support a variety of body systems. So for the mobility support, you'll see glucosamine and chondroitin, as well as turmeric and green lip mussels. For digestive health, we combine ground miscanthus grass, which is an excellent prebiotic, with guaranteed levels of probiotics shown here as dried bacillus coagulans. All right, so true or false? Hairballs are completely normal in healthy cats. I know we often hear that hairballs are something cats just do, but is it true? And I have to say, I feel like these last two polls could land us on a pet-themed episode of the show Mythbusters, and I really hope that someone else knows the show that I'm referring to and I'm not dating myself. All right, so we've got, again, what I'm hoping is multiple falses here. Well, let's find out the answer. So just like our adult 7+ dog recipes, these healthy aging recipes for cats provide preventative nutrition to help address normal age-related changes. And for our adult 7+ cat recipes, we also added cobalamin, which is vitamin B12, to support digestive health and combat against common digestive problems like hairballs. Hairballs in healthy cats are not normal, and they're not something that cats just do. So you guys got it right. But no matter which Instinct Raw longevity recipe you choose for your pet, these are the only raw diets that combine natural nutrition with proven science. All right, so some of the earliest published research from the dog risk study on canine atopic dermatitis shows that just 20% inclusion of raw food was impactful when it comes to our pet's health and well-being. The science supports that 20% is a critical threshold for a pet to benefit from raw in their diet. These meal blend recipes are an entry point into raw feeding that is materially different and are going to make a difference in a pet's life. And again, those freeze-dried pieces are complete and balanced, ensuring that our pets are receiving premium nutrition with the proactive benefits of raw. And again, something you simply can't do by mixing alone. So this graph shows the reduction of canine atopic dermatitis as the raw inclusion of the pet's diet increased. So what does this mean? First, canine atopic dermatitis is commonly known as environmental allergies. So as raw food percentages increased, there were statistically significant changes in the number of dogs presenting with environmental allergies and associated skin irritation. Starting with the tallest bar on the left, that's the baseline of 0% raw being fed. And it shows that over 50% of dogs were exhibiting signs of allergy symptoms. The second bar shows that by adding just 10% raw, we do decrease the number of itchy dogs significantly. But at 20% raw inclusion, researchers saw allergic signs drop below 10% of the dogs in the study. 10%, that's it. Now, I know your stores don't readily stock our 20% freeze-dried meal blends, but I want to briefly cover it just in case you have a pet parent asking for it, or some of the benefits or differences. So when talking to customers, we should highlight the meal blends as its own new platform. It is not just a higher freeze-dried inclusion version of Raw Boost Kibble. So these breakthrough recipes are going to transform the Kibble Plus category with an impactful level of raw inclusion. And while the 3 to 5% raw inclusion of Raw Boost Kibble offers enhanced flavor and mealtime enjoyment, the 20% freeze-dried raw inclusion threshold provides benefits that you can see, such as improved skin and coat health. And that makes Instinct Raw Longevity 20% meal blends the next step in the raw journey for those pet parents looking to incorporate more raw into their pets' diets. So the whole goal of the meal blends is to show folks the benefits of feeding a raw diet through hitting that 20% tipping point of inclusion, and then helping them trade up onto a full raw diet. So in addition to the higher raw inclusion, our 20% freeze-dried meal blends have additional guaranteed levels of nutrients to support health span and provide more tailored nutrition to each life stage. So this breakthrough 20% threshold links back to the science behind raw, where the benefits of a raw diet truly begin to shine. And once pet parents begin to experience the benefits they can see, the goal is to transition onto a 100% raw diet to maximize those benefits. So we're continuing our commitment to the science of raw through our research partnerships. And we've formed a partnership with the University of Georgia to study the impact of raw and kibble diets on pets. And this will be the first study of its kind to further validate the power of raw nutrition. And we're committed to providing the best quality nutrition to pets. So we're going above and beyond industry standards by verifying our recipes. We're conducting full AFCO feeding trials on select Instinct Raw Longevity recipes. And these are already underway for dog and cat recipes and are on track to be completed in 2022 and 2023. And plus, we've conducted palatability testing, digestibility testing, and full nutrient analyses on our recipes to guarantee nutrient levels, optimum digestibility, and of course, that pets will love it. So Instinct is continuing to lead the industry with the addition of our Center of Excellence. And this new facility will bring high pressure processing and pathogen testing in-house and will be LEED, which is the Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, certified with its sustainable design. We've demonstrated our commitment to food safety and quality by achieving an excellent rating in both food safety and food quality from SQF. And we are the only raw pet food company in North America to boast this accomplishment. So we covered a lot today. So let's summarize everything. Instinct is rooted in raw nutrition. We started in raw way back when we were feeding raw diets for the cats at the Nebraska zoos. And we've dedicated the last 2 decades to growing the raw category and advancing raw nutrition for pets. We've also partnered with university-led research programs to support the science behind raw, while continuing to promote this groundbreaking science through modes like our Science of Raw page on InstinctPetFood.com. And we infuse our recipes with the latest food science research and continue to reinvent the raw category, making raw more accessible for all pet parents. So science has evolved, and we have evolved along with it. The life-enhancing benefits of a raw food diet are backed by 12 years of research. And Instinct Raw Longevity provides optimal, tailored nutrition for each life stage, with guaranteed raw nutrition and enhanced recipes that are crafted with purpose and backed by science. So everything we do centers around one idea: empowering people to transform the lives of pets. And we're thrilled to introduce a pet food specifically crafted to help pets live a longer, healthier life. All right, so let's roll into the Q&A. I know we've got some questions out there. Again, forgive me, this is my first Google Meet, so is there a chat box there may be questions in? But please come off mute, ask your questions.
Yeah, we have mostly people will use the chat box, so guys, if you have questions, go ahead and put them in now. I always like to try and start us off. What do you see as the biggest obstacle to transitioning people from traditional kibble to like a raw feeding? Is it price? Is it convenience? Is it safety concerns? And like, how would you address that?
Sure. So I think that's really going to depend on the pet parent that you're talking to. When it comes to the price, I'll address all the topics for you. When it comes to price, you can absolutely have the conversation that raw doesn't have to be an all or nothing concept. Of course, we would love for everybody to be on 100% raw, but that's not always feasible for everybody. So even just like that, the dog risk study, the one dog risk study on canine atopic dermatitis supports, if we can get as little as 20% into their diet, they're going to start to see those benefits. And so even if it's a matter of using it as a topper for their food, or taking the bites, and some people use it in place of canned food because you can safely mix raw and kibble, I think it's just a matter of getting them started, not necessarily immediately asking them to go 100% raw. So, maybe suggesting that they do maybe a meal a week raw, or even just start topping their breakfast or dinner with it. Because there's the concept that it has to be all or nothing, and that's not true. As far as the safety aspect, we have a zero tolerance policy for pathogens. So we test our food at every stage of production. So for our raw food, that is 4 times. And then our freeze-dried is tested 5, because that's an additional step, is the freeze-drying. And that is third-party tested. And we do a test and hold. So we hold it 7 days, good to go, we send it out. And as our pathogen control method or mitigation, we use a process called cold pressure processing, which is where you take the food in its form, once it's in the form that patties, bites, and then you put it in what looks like submarine, and you subject it to a lot of pressure. Think like the Mariana Trench, like the deepest part of the ocean, and it essentially just pops the pathogens. Listeria, E. coli, Salmonella, the most common ones that people are concerned about. And then for our chicken recipes, we do add an additional probiotic shield because chicken is naturally has a heavy pathogen load, so has a lot of bacteria on it. And then what was the other question? I think there were 3 parts to your question.
Well, convenience. But you guys definitely have products. I understand. Like if they're not.
You're on mute, Alex.
Oh, sorry. Convenience. Sometimes people like to think that it's maybe not as convenient as just chucking in some kibble into a bowl for their pet. You know.
Okay, so that's where those bites can come in handy.
Yeah.
They quick thaw. I have a house of 5 dogs. Everybody is raw fed. I love bites. I love them. They are my best friend. I can scoop them into their bowls, let them sit for about 10 to 15 minutes, and they're good to go. They're nice and thawed. So if they can spare the 10 extra minutes, or their pet can wait 10 minutes, I guess is the real thing, to let it thaw in their bowl and then they can feed it, the bites are a very convenient option.
Gotcha. One other thing you touched on with the allergies, the atopic dermatitis. I've heard, and I don't know if you can back up any of this, is that it's actually due to the heating process with kibble versus the freeze-dried process is what actually is causing the allergies. Have you heard this, or is there any research that you believe backs this up?
So there's a lot of different things that could be causing that. A couple things that could be alluding to it is, yes, there is something called cooking toxins that do occur. It's called the the Maillard reaction, where you have heat and sugars, and it's kind of like when you cook your meat on the grill, that the blackening. So that is a cooking toxin. So because your canned food is your most processed, and when you go to your frozen raw, that is your least processed, there are virtually no cooking toxins because no heat is applied at any point. So for some dogs, yes, that absolutely could be a factor. Also, too, carbohydrates are pro-inflammatory. So the skin is an organ, and when you feed diets that are heavy in carbohydrates or have a high carb content, that can cause inflammation in the body as well. And again, the skin is an organ, so that can cause inflammation there too.
Thank you for that. That actually helps me because I it's good to hear like 2 people saying the same thing, 2 different raw companies.
Well, whoever that was.
That was Dr. Marty from Dr. Marty's Pet Food. So, okay. But he didn't seem like too confident. He said, "Oh, there's emerging studies." But it's good to hear that instinct. You actually have, the same ideas about that. So there's some questions in the chat here.
Sure.
Amanda asks, would this be good to suggest to customers who have picky eaters or have any stomach issues?
Oh, absolutely. And I know I base a lot of stuff off my own dogs, but that's because I've got dogs across the spectrum of picky eaters or picky eater with tummy troubles. So because it is a meat-based diet, so it's meat and your fresh fruits and veggies, meat is naturally palatable to dogs. So when you feed them diets that are rich in meat, which is what they want, then you will notice an increased enthusiasm in eating. I will say some dogs may not be so sure what it is at first. My female, I did have to take a little piece and just kind of like put it in her mouth like a treat. Once she realized what it was, because it's a new form, it's a new texture, she has not skipped a bowl. She hasn't skipped a meal in 9 years. So I consider that a win. And as far as the digestive, because it is so minimally processed, again, just like Alex had said, when you process foods and add heat to them, it can cause reactions in food that may inflame the gut or negatively affect the microbiome. And so when you feed a diet that is minimally processed, it's much easier for dogs and cats to digest, and thus resulting in smaller, firmer stools, less gas, and more consistent bowel movements, I guess you could say. I know before, when I started 9 years ago raw feeding, my one dog would go sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon, but not till the next day, or sometimes it'd be 3 times a day, 4 times. Now that they've been raw fed, everybody is very consistent and very solid, to put it nicely.
All right, we have another question here from Danny, and I'm curious to see how you'll answer this one.
Sure.
She says, I have a hairless Sphinx kitten, and my vet suggested putting her on a grain-inclusive diet, but she does so well on the instinct, kitten raw, freeze-dried, raw-coated kibble, wet food. She's comfortable, or she's had a noticeable difference in her skin on this diet, so I'm hesitant to change it. Any suggestions or advice on how to add grain to her diet that she is already on?
I'm not a veterinarian.
Yeah.
So if that is something that your vet is suggesting, I would not want to go against what your vet said. I would probably just ask and find out why they would want you to include some grain in the diet. If it is a concern, and I'm not saying this is or isn't, but sometimes there can be concerns with taurine levels in food. Again, we've done nutrient analyses on our food, so you can we can get the nutrient analyses and you can show your vet the taurine levels that are in, because sometimes that is the concern when suggesting grain inclusive diets.
All right, if anybody has any more questions, now's your chance.
No question is a stupid question. Ask us anything. Everybody's already in Thanksgiving mode thinking about the turkey. I don't blame them.
Yeah, so if there's no more questions, I guess we'll call it. And I can send them your contact information, Aspen, if something
so
pops up.
I do have here so if you guys have the opportunity to scan this QR code, save the link, because with today's training, everyone has essentially completed the raw longevity module in Instinct University, and I really want everybody to get credit for their time today. And you will earn rewards if you do this. So you get a voucher for free product, and just as a reminder, my name is Aspen, because you will need that for filling out the form. But if you guys have an opportunity, scan this code while it is on your screen so you can get a t-shirt, you can get the voucher for the free products, you can try it with your own pets, and then let Jamie know how your pet does on it. We want to know. We want to hear that they liked it.
Well, thank
cool.
you.
Alex, if I can just say one more thing,
oh, yeah.
I just want to touch on, and I hate to touch on this, but I think this is kind of the issue we've all been seeing the past few months is inventory. Just to help your customers in store, unfortunately for you guys who are kind of the face of retail, you guys get blamed when you don't have that one can of cat food that your customer needs or things like that. So I wanted to give you guys some talking points too of what Instinct is doing if you have any of those situations. So our top priority obviously remains our team and the quality and safety of our products, and we won't do anything to compromise ingredients or safety or quality protocols at all. Right now, we're currently working on a new production shift at our kitchens in Lincoln, Nebraska. Of course, we have to hire for that, which is obviously challenging in some of these times, but new production shift which will allow us to make more freeze-dried and frozen. Exploring new supply solutions to ensure consistent and long-term supply, and also working to qualify additional kibble and wet co-packers to help deliver more food to your stores. So we're doing everything we can to get the food into your doors, and hopefully you guys haven't seen such huge inventory issues, but we're working hard to make sure that everybody can feed their dogs and cats what they need to.
Thank you. That's great to hear. Obviously, there's supply chain issues like crazy right now.
Hopefully we're not the worst of it, right? That's all I
Yeah.
can hope for.
One last thing while I have everybody, coming down the pipeline, in December we are going to be running a $5 off. Is it $5 off, Jamie?
Yep, $5
Yeah,
off.
$5 off any of the frozen raw Instinct longevity bites. So thank you for the support once again for that. And thank you, Aspen, for taking the time to speak with everybody. It was
Absolutely.
very fun and engaging presentation. One of the better ones we've definitely had.
Oh, thanks. We tried. We know what it can be like stuck behind a computer screen.
Oh, and one last thing here, Eve comment, I use the longevity raw with my cat who normally eats primal raw, and he did wonderfully well on it and gobbled it up.
Awesome. We like to hear it. Now so you can take that testimony and talk to your customers and let them know that your own cat liked it.
All right, everybody, have a great Thanksgiving. Gobble till you wobble.
Thanks so much, Alex. Guys, I hope you have a great week.
All right, see ya.
Thank you, guys.